First, when you built a PC, you would just install Windows on it without thinking twice. It was the best option. Now, though, there's fear, and this fear comes from many factors. Microsoft added unnecessary things in Windows 11. Windows 11 is going to be the downfall, let's say, of the entire Windows environment. Windows 11 has become an operating system that looks like it came from China, full of ads. For instance, let's say you want to search for old memories or pictures of yourself as a child. You go to the taskbar in the search area, type the name of the file, and Windows tells you, no, you don't want pictures of your childhood memories. Here's an ad for cement. This is the first problem, ads in the interface. Before I continue with the rest of the video, I just want to say that over 99% of people watching this channel are not subscribed yet. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love for you to be part of this. Now, let's get back to the video. The second issue is they add things the user didn't ask for, didn't think to ask for, and won't use, like the recall feature that they removed after facing issues. It would record everything that happens on your screen. If you visited a website, logged in, entered personal information, Windows Recall would capture and save all of it. That's just one example of many other things. There's also the game bar feature, which is a headache and raises my blood pressure. I didn't ask for it, you didn't ask for it, nobody asked for it. The third thing, which is the most important and what Microsoft focused on in Windows 11, is something called telemetry. Telemetry is when Microsoft collects data from your computer, specifically from you. They call it diagnostic or system development data. For example, if Word crashes on your system, it sends a log file to Microsoft. But telemetry doesn't stop there. It knows which application you open, when you open it, and how long you use it, including your interaction with the app. Clicks, keystrokes, everything. Microsoft knows if you used Firefox or Chrome instead of Edge. What apps do you use? Microsoft doesn't need to know, but they need it for something bigger, to make more money. I'll explain that later. One of the things Microsoft collects is your device ID, like your IP address, your hardware's serial number. So, for example, if you reinstall Windows, it doesn't need to re-recognize you. It already knows who you are. It collects your device ID, your complete device information. If you use Bing, it tracks the links you visit and what you search for. Now, you can't use Windows, especially the Home Edition, without having a Microsoft account. For instance, if you're in a remote area with no internet, but have a USB drive, and want to install Windows on a PC, you can't do it without an internet connection and a Microsoft account, especially with the Home Edition, which most people use. Windows 11 is locked down. For example, users can't control the updates they receive. They can't delete certain apps that Microsoft forces upon you. It's like saying, you will use this app, and you can't remove it. Your computer, which you paid a lot for, especially if it's built for gaming, should give you full control over the system. But with Windows 11, Microsoft takes that control away from you. You can fix these problems with third-party tools, but those tools often create bigger problems than the ones you were trying to solve in the first place. Plus, most Windows users don't have technical expertise. They just want a computer to get their work or study done. This is the majority of users. There's a second group, though, which is the group of gamers who paid a lot for their PCs to play games. This group has the power to influence what operating system dominates in the future. Why? Because the number of gamers switching to PCs is increasing massively, and they're already a huge part of the market. Also, gamers tend to have more technical expertise, even if it's just a bit more than average users. In 2012, we all remember Windows 8, which was so bad that people didn't even want to mention its name. Microsoft wanted to turn Windows into a closed system like Apple's iOS, forcing developers to sell their apps exclusively through the Microsoft Store. But Steam, which is owned by Valve, wasn't having it. Valve's CEO, Gabe Newell, saw this as a problem as Microsoft was trying to take a cut of Steam's profits. So Valve decided to create a separate path from Windows and started working on a Linux version of Steam. In 2013, Valve released Steam on Linux. becoming the first major game-related company to support Linux. Over time, Valve created SteamOS, a Linux-based operating system, and released it on Steam machines. Although they didn't sell much, the goal was to break free from Windows and send a message to Microsoft. In 2018, Valve noticed that developers were still not supporting Linux, so they created Proton, a translation layer that lets you play Windows games on Linux. With Proton, you don't need developers to make separate Linux versions. They can just release a Windows version, and Proton handles the rest. Proton now supports DirectX 11 and 12, which were previously Windows-exclusive technologies in gaming. By 2021, Valve had integrated everything into a product called the Steam Deck, which made Linux gaming accessible to a larger audience. It's a lightweight system, and gaming performance is excellent. Now, Linux has become a viable alternative to Windows. You can play all your games, modify the system, and do anything you want without Microsoft controlling your machine. Linux is open source, so you own the system. And recently, more people are moving to Linux, especially with the rise of people like YouTuber PewDiePie, who put Linux on his PC and caused a lot of people to start asking questions about it. This is why I'm excited about the growing Linux community. As it gets bigger, developers will pay more attention to it, creating more tools and apps for Linux. And one day, Linux could become the dominant operating system, not just in gaming, but in general. As for me, I dual boot Windows and Arch Linux. I use Windows for things like editing and photography, and Linux for everything else related to technology and automation. Recently, I've been testing Linux distros on virtual machines to see which one is best for beginners. If you're considering switching to Linux, I recommend setting up a dual boot system, not abandoning Windows entirely just yet. You can always move completely to Linux once it's big enough, and you won't lose anything. The most important thing is that now you have the option. That's it for this video. It's more like a random chat, but I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Goodbye.